and welcome back to the IWAR Network Tubecast. I'm your host, Alex G, and with me, as always, IWAR Commissioner, CWL Commissioner, Mr. Anderson, BRL, NWL Commissioner, Matt Riley. How you guys doing tonight?
Excellent. How are you doing?
Better than most, I assume.
I have a special message for all my fans out there. Just let them know that I am very happy. You might say I'm 6 times as happy with the Patriots winning the Super Bowl.
Wah, wah, wah.
A message purely for Tom. Inside joke.
Not for nothing, I haven't watched football since the butt fumble, so.
That was a good time to stop.
That's over.
It hasn't, not much has happened.
I just walk away. It's like, nope, I'm not doing this anymore.
This is the year, though. The Jets are going to be back this year. You watch.
Nope. Ain't happening. So this will be our winter 2019 cycle in review. But we're going to start off with some questions that we solicited from the IWAR Network Facebook page.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Anderson, do you want to go through our question?
Sure, let's do it. First question. What is our predictions for this year's Johnny B. Cup and the Murano? My prediction for the Johnny B. Cup and the Murano is whoever Brad enters.
I think I have to agree with you on that one, my friend.
Is there a way to get Joe Boring banned from the event somehow? Can we pull that off?
Yep, consider it done.
Scott
No
Anderson
Joe Boring.
is the new Vince McMahon heel commissioner. Just, Joe Boring, you're fired.
Sorry, Joe. You're out. Done.
A quick side note about Joe Boring. I enjoyed that he sent a message or put a post that Joe Boring loved the Super Bowl because it was so sad.
That was good.
I wanted to share that with the people I was watching with, but they wouldn't have understood. But I appreciated it, Joe.
I think for Murano, I think I will go with the underdog team of Team International of Haruki Fuji and Achilles Leos. I think they're due to win something at some point soon.
I would go with Bad Company only because I think if we don't win it, Scott's going to kill me. So I'm motivated to live. I would say Johnny B. Cup. I think we're going to see a win by a newer player, like one of the recent graduates. So it could be somebody from last year. I'd say one of our shining stars growing big.
I can see like the Midnight Society winning here. Suburban Hell Savages, maybe even the Savage Americans. Definitely not the Chaotix, that's for sure.
Definitely not.
Graham Underwood.
Their time is coming past.
Graham Underwear.
Come and pass.
When is the entry fees due for both these events?
Excellent question. The deadline to enter is February 19th.
February 19th?
Yeah.
Holy
coming up
soon.
Yeah. Please don't message me on February 21st and be like, oh, I forgot. Can I please enter?
That's when I was going to enter, my guys.
Nope. Sorry. February 19th. The asterisk to that is managers that have waitlisted teams, obviously they won't pay by February 19th, but I will let them know kind of in the few days or a week following the deadline. It looks like some of our waitlisted teams are going to get in. I don't think we're going to get to 48, so we'll definitely have some waitlisted teams get the opportunity to enter. Yeah. Right now, it looks like the CWL, strong representing. BRL's got a good number. IWL's got. We could use some more IWL. I'm not going to lie.
I think you're going to see Luther and good old Tim Riggins in there. Shortly,
Good. Here's looking at you, regulators.
Ooh.
Like to see you come back. Maybe if they enter the Murano, I'm going with the regulators. I'll call it now.
No.
Yeah.
They're ridiculously good. Speaking of events, Soul Survivor. I only have 3 entries so far for Soul Survivor, so please get me your money.
Is that me?
No, I didn't even get you. You know that IWA does not send me when you enter into stuff.
I have the Savages and Tari, so they're in. That's 6.
I will be entering, so you'll have at least 8 to 10.
Don't be a douche and enter Soul Survivor. How about that?
Aw.
So what are these questions?
I want Graham to win, and then he doesn't have to have a pay-per-view match, or he doesn't have to defend the title at the following pay-per-view. He'll just come out,
raise the belt, and leave.
Raise the belt. Yep. Oh, our esteemed NWL commissioner asked who has the best finisher in the IWAR. I said without a doubt, I'll answer this one right away. It's too easy. Backstabber, fireball to the face. Can't top it.
You know what I wish, and I think we're a little bit more familiar with people what their actual finishers are, because we write so many pay-per-view matches. Mm-hmm. But I think in general, I don't think the people at large know what everyone's finisher is, especially when it's named something kind of random.
Right.
True.
Like obviously, like Luther has like the Soviet super kick,
right?
And I'll give you guys a spoiler: it's a super kick.
Oh, secret to the game revealed.
There it is. Like Magnum Force's finisher, right? The MIA is the Powerplex, which was the old Power and Glory finishing maneuver, which is fantastic.
I would say I like finishers that have little messages sometimes too. Those are always fun.
Yeah.
I still say one of the best ones was a guy called Blue Light Bob, and he was a rogue Kmart employee, and his finisher was called the Blue Light Special.
Nice.
That was a phenomenal finisher. I liked NWL. There's a new guy called Monster Truck Tanaka, and he has Monster Jam.
Monster Jam,
which I laughed my ass off. Wasn't that the name of a TV show or something like that?
It's the name of the actual events that you go to.
Oh, is that what it is?
It's called the Monster Jam.
And as it turns out, my friend took his kids to the Monster Trucks the other night, and they were like, "Is it loud?" And he tried to give us audio recording, and it didn't work.
You know what they do now? They sell fucking earmuffs now.
They should.
Back in my day when I used to frequent Monster Trucks, and yes, folks, they have Monster Truck rallies in New York, and I used to go to them all the time. I was a big fan of Bigfoot and Chuckosaurus, which is nice.
I honorable mention to Vince Torrio's cement kimono. It's just random. Last laugh. What is the last laugh for Piper Goofball Monroe?
Leg drop from the top rope.
Big John Stone, big stones.
All the other groups I'm in are down. There's no spots either.
I can tell you the Discord page had a question.
Cut it out. Oh, here we go. Who will be the first to sign with the AEW? Well, assuming that you mean who will be the next person to sign. Have they, please excuse my ignorance, have they officially announced Kenny Omega?
They did today.
Oh, okay, did they?
Yes, they did.
Okay, so he would have been the first person.
Omega, and I mean, they announced the Lucha Brothers. They also had another female competitor that I'm not familiar with. Okay. That they signed also.
Who will be the next person to sign? I'm trying to think of some people that are. Isn't Kenta leaving?
He is.
Okay, I think he could be somebody they sign.
I think he's more likely to go back to Japan though.
I think Dean Ambrose too obvious. I don't think he'll. I think
he's gonna go home.
Yeah.
Maybe try to get in some movies.
Yeah.
I want to say CM Punk. Just kidding. He's never wrestling again.
Which is so weird to me that wrestlers can do that, right?
He's the only one.
He lives and breathes wrestling for 15 years, and I'm a huge CM Punk fan.
Me too.
But lives and breathes wrestling 15 years, and then just one day, and I get him leaving, that's fine. But he just all of a sudden never wants to wrestle again. Never goes to Ring of Honor for a last hurrah, a middle finger to the WWE.
I think if he ever goes back to wrestling, he'll go in as a color commentator. That's probably the extent.
I mean, I do feel like...
To be honest, the next person they'll probably end up signing is Joey Ryan because he's not officially signed, but I'm pretty sure he'll be there.
Joey Ryan.
I'm not a fan of his either.
No, Joey makes me realize that I'm not as young and hip as I think I am because I'm that's some...
You don't think penis wrestling is something that's timeless? That goes no.
I mean, I think penis jokes are always funny, but no, I don't want it in my wrestling. Next question: has the IWAR ever had a battle royal on a floating island of plastic in the Pacific? No, but I'm pretty sure Luther Alexander would wrestle somebody on a floating island of plastic.
I wrote that down as a possible main event for a future pay-per-view.
Yes.
Luther has done the Russian death match, which is a ring inside a ring that's in a pool, with the object being to get thrown into the pool that has piranhas and sharks.
Yes.
And electric eels.
The man who the Lifetime ban could not subsist as who is more attractive, Shirley Temple or Judy Garland. I say false question. Elsa Lanchester is definitely the most attractive. She played Bride of Frankenstein, for those of you who are...
What about Shirley Temple Black? Shirley Temple Black.
I don't know what you're saying, and I don't even want to address it. Larry asked who farted. That's probably all three of us pretty much every day.
Yeah.
Not for nothing. I had fucking Applebee's today.
Yeah.
Not a good choice.
Yep, I had Taco Bell last week, and I definitely felt a rumbly in my tumbly.
It's not Monday night. And
Monday night.
Yeah.
So, the esteemed BRL commissioner asks, who else calls himself a 501 with a typo? Pretty sure that was only Ali Atari. And last question.
Not me, because I only get a... Even without the typos, I still get a 493.
The former IWAR commissioner asks, how many times have you seen a wrestler with a name that was also someone you know in real life? Do you mean like a first and last name?
Yeah, like someone who was like Bobby Hamlin, but like someone you actually knew in life. Like I worked with a Bobby Hamlin or something like that.
Yeah. I don't think I've had that happen.
I went to high school with Mike Mondo, formerly of the Spirit Squad.
Nice.
Yeah, he was like 2 years below me, or 1 year after me. So,
did you get the question from the Discord group? If you're not on the Facebook page, there's an alternate group on the Discord app, which is discordapp.com. We have a posting on our Facebook page about that. You can also email any of us, and we can happily forward you the link. It's sort of an alternative, so that way if you're not on a social media site like Facebook, you don't want to be, you can still engage with us and get in some of the fun. So the question that was asked was... question around winning strats. As someone who's never sifted a 501, what are some tricks to elevate my 493s to the next level? I will tell you from my point of view, what I've been doing and having more success with lately is and I'm going to gloss over it. At first, if you haven't watched the How to Win video, take a watch, come back, finish this. So understanding that the drop combinations, so 29, 26, 27, 26, etc., you rule out first what already dropped last cycle, what dropped in other feds in gold and iron, and I usually myself drop out whatever dropped last cycle, like 2 cycles ago. So that gives me 4 combos that I can rule out. If you go with that method, it gives you fewer choices to choose from. And what I've been doing lately is, instead of kind of trying to cover every single drop combination possible, I go with what I think will make the most sense. So, for example, if one of the combos also came up, let's say 6 months ago, I might rule that out. In a sense, and I say combos like the number of the holds. So if 1 in 31 popped up as a drop 7 cycles ago, it's very rare they use the same exact hold combos for a drop within a year. But that's just something I've noticed. But of course, I'm only playing in gold. So those of you that play outside of it might be like, that guy's full of shit. It happens all the time, because maybe it does. That's what I do. So I don't know if one of you guys want to share what you do for your approach.
So as far as strats go, I actually, in feds where I have enough wrestlers to play around with, I think that is also dependent on what you pick. If you only have, say, 2 or 3 wrestlers, you have a very limited amount of choices, right? You really have to basically guess the right lottery, right? You don't really get a lot of leeway. Mm-hmm. If you have, say, like 12, like I do, then you have the opportunity to, kind of as Matt was sort of talking about, you can spread out your holds if you want, even if that's not what he does now. But, you know, if I think these are the 3 possible drops, I can pick those and spread it out and accept that, say, 3 or 4 of my wrestlers are going to hit high, 3 or 4 of my wrestlers are going to hit low, and I just accept that it's going to be a mixed bag, but at least I have some do well most of the time. I think the possibilities in the back five we often overlook. I tend to avoid 42s in the back five. 41s are hit or miss if you want to risk trying to get a 43 or 44. But the big thing for me as far as the back five is I never play a 42. It's just not worthwhile to me to do that. So that's, I guess, one of the other things that I would suggest in terms of trying to better your strats.
And me, I don't do anything. I pick my strats in 5 minutes, usually at 4 o'clock in the morning. There you go.
There you go.
All right, so that's all the questions.
Do you ever double up a hold at all?
Constantly. Constantly. So we're going to start off here with the CWL Continental Wrestling League, number 222. The league champion, Joel Boren. TV champion, Pop Culture, Peter Cross. United States champion, the Turkey, Harley Brown. Yukon champion, Barry Takeny Stevens. Caribbean champion, David Humbleheart. Amazon Basin champion, Friendzone, Frederick Goodfellow. British Isles champion, Sebastian Zabapowski. Arabian champion, the philosopher Elijah Davis. South African champion, Gideon Shining Star. Siberian champion, Dixon Ticonderoga. East Asian champion, Bob Bonecutter. Oceanic champion, Bruce Inferno. Tag team champions, Axel Von Schnapp, Alex Von Schnapp. TV tag team champions, Johnny the Wrench Morello and Vincent Torrio. Six-man champions, Victor Axel and Alex Von Schnapp. TV six-man champions, Unleavened Bread, Alabastard, and the wrestler with no name. So, Mr. Anderson, what's going down on the CWL?
Well, I think our common answer is a lot. So
how many cards do you get this cycle?
I want to say 118.
Fucking Christ.
I'd have to double check.
118.
118, 117?
118.
I was right the first time. All right, good. Lots of stuff. In terms of trash talk, lots and lots of stuff going on. I'm going to try and make sure I limit myself. I've got my note. Big Attack, Barry Stevens and Dixon Ticonderoga on Gary Galaxy. The Oddballs are getting married. They got beat up by the newly formed Southern Song Dynasty. So hopefully we see the Oddballs back. I know everybody probably knows at this point, I'm a huge fan of the Oddball Express. They make me laugh a lot. The feud between several really good tag teams, the Syndicate and the Hillbilly Hell Show, as well as the Educated and the Agents of Redemption. Those feuds continue. Apparently, Lauren O'Dur doesn't have a pay-per-view match now. Looks like there's a little trouble within the Midnight Society. Winston Smith shows up from the IWL, and it seems like Aaron McFleece has kind of taken a leadership role. One of my favorite TTs this cycle was from Styling Steve Sokolowski. Please tell me how bad I butchered that name. I apologize. But Bruce Inferno shockingly joins the Gentleman's Club. I think that's pretty big. I'll look forward to seeing that.
A little tip about Gentleman's Club, though. They frown upon you walking in there wearing sweatpants but no underwear on. So don't do that.
Don't do that. Kudos. Kudos to you. Public service announcement. Thank you. So Mike Mason absolutely destroys Solomon Graham in this vicious attack, and several dead-end DDTs on the exposed concrete floor. Beautiful, beautiful Midnight came out with wings from Hooters, hence the owl reference, to distract the Midnight Society member Aaron McFleece.
That's good.
Thought that was pretty funny. Not a huge fan of Hooters. Think it's kind of antiquated nowadays. But I did think
food sucks. I'm sorry.
I did think the use of wings and throwing them out into the crowd or giving them away to the crowd was pretty good. Norman Spivey back. Big news. He says he and his brother is going to reclaim their glory. Everybody should be on notice. If you don't know who the blanks are, you will know soon. They pretty much destroy everyone in their wake. So good luck to the rest of us. John Body and Dan Maggot. More super solid work. I encourage everybody to read that. Carnage Squad beats up Mass Destruction and are joined by the Zed Timpowski family. So that could be interesting to see where that goes. And my favorite line of the cycle, and I think I did not simplify what I was talking about, but my favorite line of the cycle, wrestler with no name. He is so special, in fact, that when he puts on his pants in the morning, he puts them on both legs at the same time. And boom, he's off doing championship type stuff. While we're still struggling with that other leg. I laughed pretty heartily. So that's my TT review, and I think I went way above and beyond my limit of 3.
Yeah, you left me with nothing. But I didn't want to talk about the Death Dealers and their assault on the Carnage Squad, and they even invited Luther Alexander to join up with them. But Luther doesn't join Stables. Stables join Luther. That's the way that goes. Matt, do you have anything for the CWL?
Well, I enjoy that there's a lot to choose from. And I will say, outside of a quick note when it comes to trash talking etiquette, if you're going to depart a league or you're going to join a league, it's a great idea to let the commissioner know so you can kind of either help build up your welcome or ease your departure. I would say that's a nice, polite step and also helps the game have more of a seamless approach. I would say it's my one big pet peeve I wanted to bring up. So that was...
Yeah,
Okay.
Agreed. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Anderson, what do you got in terms of CWL news?
CWL news. Well, our pay-per-view, Crossroads, is coming up in cycle 231, so we will have one more cycle before the matches play. There is kind of a couple of quick big CWL things I want to talk about. We do have a CWL exclusive event coming up, Four Corners Invitational. There have been CWL Four Corners Invitationals in the past. I ran it last year as an IWAR wide event. This year I'm running it as a CWL exclusive, but to change things up a bit, I'm going to run first 2 rounds as Fatal 4-Ways. So there'll be 8 Fatal 4-Way matches in the first round. This is going to be limited to 32 wrestlers max. I'm going to cut it off there, so get your entries in early. 1 wrestler per manager until the deadline. So I don't expect to fill 32 before the deadline, but then we will fill in the rest based on performance in the Battle Royal in cycle 231. So we will definitely get up to 32, but each manager, I want as many managers as possible to be able to enter. So managers can enter 1 wrestler before the March 12th deadline, and then maybe a second wrestler after the deadline. So there'll be some more information on the Four Corners Invitational in your bulletin. I'm pretty excited about it. I think it's going to be cool. And then another big thing that will be happening is, as much as I love tournaments, I adore them, I want to kind of maybe go in a different direction for some of the ways that our number 1 contenders are determined, particularly now that we have the ability to track tag and 6-man strats thanks to the IWA.
Yes.
So what will 95% probably be happening with the next turn that starts in cycle 232 is I'm going to go away from doing tournaments, and I'll do kind of eliminate a certain number each cycle. So say 40 wrestlers qualify for the Continental Challenging Contendership. I'll cut it from, say, 40 to 20, and then 20 to 10, and 10 to 5, and then 5 to a winner, right? So basically your wrestler will have to stay in the top half of the strategies in order to stay in the race to be the number 1 contender. I think that is, I don't like to use the word fair, but I think that's more equitable because say you have a 497, your opponent has a 498, you could have the second best strat in the tournament and be eliminated. So again, I adore tournaments. I run them aplenty, but for our number 1 contendership, I think I want to move in a different direction. So that's my big CWL news.
Hey, I got a question for you guys. Has any commissioner tried to book these things out? Just like, oh, I'm just gonna choose this guy.
Yes.
What do you mean?
Like instead of like, I do tournaments. You like to do
Yeah.
tournaments. Matt uses the strat hold totals.
Right.
Is any commissioner saying like, no, listen, this guy has the best TT. This will be the best main event.
Yeah.
That's what we're going with.
The Generation Next League does that.
Okay.
I love Generation Next League. Yeah, so they basically take the storylines that are running and the wrestlers that have earned kind of that spot. There was a number one contenders match, I think. Well, not officially, though. But there was a match between two kind of top-level talents. And they kind of said whoever wins that should probably be in line next. But yeah, that's how they run it. He picks. Shout out to Wes.
Yeah, man. Dig that. I dig that. All right. Next up is the NWL New Wave League number 126. League champion, winning 10 free matches because he's retained, Dash DeLorean. TV champion, Idle Hands. Hey, you know what's funny? Do you know the wrestler Lodi from WCW from back in the day?
Yes.
Do you know Lodi is Idle spelled backwards?
Do you know?
There you go. Atlantic champion, Cole, Dead-Eyed Tracker. Central champion, Victor, The Possess, and Mizabov. Dixie champion, The American Patriot. Eastern champion, Insincere Saul Revere. Mountain champion, Triple Threat. Northern champion, The Christian Warrior. Pacific champion, Mino Slamborino. Prairie champion, Monster Truck Tanaka. Southern champion, Abram O'Brien. Western champion, The Mad Mama. Tag team champions winning 5 free matches, Insincere Saul Revere, the Greek Tycoon, Peens Penis. TV tag team champions, The Christian Warrior and Bram O'Brien. 6-man champions, Mino Slamborino, Idle Hans, Insincere Saul Revere. TV 6-man champion, El Tigre, Hurricane Travis, and the American Patriot. So, Matt, what's going down in the NWL?
Well, as some of us longtime fans will know, we just had our Clash of the Champions Money in the Bank pay-per-view. And Victor the Possessed Ayazimov defeated Friday Night Joe Fantastic to become the new Young Lions champion. He went on a vicious attack, beating referees, timekeepers, fans. No one was safe. Despite all this, Commissioner Jackson decided not to suspend him, but he will be facing the new number one contender, which is the Chameleon, the Rising Star.
I'm a chameleon.
And not Zartan. The Rising Star Championship is now held by Dirty Mike. And Dirty Mike, if you've ever seen the movie The Other Guys, you understand the reference. And the character does play that up. The Young Lions Tag Team Champions, the Heartbreakers, retained the belts against Dash DeLorean and Logan Kane. And the Money in the Bank match was won by Insincere Saul Revere. Now, a quick refresher, the way the Money in the Bank works is whoever holds it can cash it in whenever they like, but they have to let me know a day or two before the cycle runs. So, for example, we all see what the strat totals are in the NWL each cycle, so you can kind of track and see how the champion is doing as well as a challenger. So if you're holding that Money in the Bank briefcase and you notice that your wrestler's strategy is better than both of theirs going into the third cycle, you can email me and say, hey, I'm cashing it in. So when I write the match, I'll have that come in where your wrestler comes in at the last minute, uses the Money in the Bank contract, however it plays out. But if your strategy after that third cycle is better, it'll be a successful cash-in. But because you declared it, if your cycle is not better and the champion or the challenger has a better overall strategy, it'll be an unsuccessful cash-in. So it's on the player to watch the numbers and see how it plays out. But you have to let me know when you're ready to cash it in. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. People would ask questions about that, and I want to make sure it's understood.
Hey, did Hurricane Travis and the American Patriot win with the Scrub, the tag team, the 6-man tag team championship, or the TV 6-man tag team championship?
Did they win the belt?
I'm pretty sure they did.
They did. Well, I will say this. We didn't mention this earlier on in the question and answer, but probably one of our IWA tips. A random way to pick up some TV tag or TV 6-man often is if the current TV or TV 6-man champion goes on to become the league champion, those TV tag or TV 6-man belts are vacated. The way they fill those is the highest point total win by any tag team or 6-man team. So one sort of sneaky way to add one of your matches, make it a match against 3 scrubs, And if they have a higher point total, they'll win the TV tag or TV six-man. I don't know if this was the case, but it looks like it might be. Saying they may have teamed up with a scrub and not known. I'd have to look into the whole thing. But just a little side note, sometimes that happens. It is always possible, but it's nice to see kind of random pairings. So El Tigre.
I mean, who would team with a scrub? I mean, it's not like that happened in the LWL. This
only someone who's going out of their way to destroys a league strategy total overall.
Well,
because then now they become active.
No. Not if it's a tag match.
Not if it's a tag match. Okay. Only if it's a segment. All right.
And actually, can I have some breaking news?
Yes.
So that actually happened in the CWL this cycle. So I emailed the IWA about it, and they emailed me back. I meant to mention this on the show. I'm glad you brought this up, sir. They say they're going to make sure that if that happens in the future, that the scrub wrestler is not counted as part of the strategy average for everybody from now on.
Nice.
It shouldn't count. So you're welcome.
There it is. So as far as what's going on in the NWL, there is a ton. And, it's funny. I think I reverse jinxed us because I keep mentioning how, oh boy, here we go. We're going to lose a bunch of guys off the roster. Chameleon, Logan Kane, guys have already left. Star Factory's due out in a few, not too long away. And then it's like, boom, boom, boom. We had some fantastic names show up in Trash Talk work. We won't cover every single bit of it, but the new folks, Cole Tracker, the Johnny Payne, Hurricane Travis, Salicho, did I say that right? Trent Sickness, Johnny Orion, Saul Revere. There's so many good, Billy Club kind of resurfaced again. And it's good to see a lot of this effort. It's quality work. It's getting there. And we really appreciate it because it makes the job of a commissioner much easier. Because when I'm writing the report up, I have lots to go off of. I would, again, encourage you, if you are on Facebook, to join the Facebook IWAR page. We've had some more players join on recently, and those of you, of course, join Discord if you want to do that as well. I would say just, it's overall a strong cycle. I like, there's so many things I like. Trent Sickness, it gives me a very good vibe on the future, so I'm looking forward to this next few cycles as things begin to progress and we see more out of the characters. But what Trash Talk stood out to you?
Monster Truck Tanaka.
What did you like about his Trash Talk?
I like that he likes monster trucks. And
all right, well, there it is.
No, in all seriousness, I thought, I like these introduction type TT, especially when someone either joins a new league or is joining the game for the first time. We get a real sense of who he is. Again, we get the hometown, the height, the weight, etc. And he's the son of a great American pro wrestler, which I wonder if it's Pat Tanaka. That's what I'm assuming. It's Pat Tanaka, and a Japanese movie star princess. And apparently, he's rejected his royal bloodline to follow in his father's footsteps. So I think it's awesome. He likes Godzilla movies and fighting in bars for money. It seems like my type of man. This is something that I would actually write myself. You know what I mean? So.
There it is.
Mr. Anderson, what do you got?
Well, I did want to give a quick shout out to what I think, and we were talking about this before we got on, is a very ingenious way to write your trash talk. So a shout out once again to Saul Revere. I also thought the introduction trash talk for Trent Sickness was very interesting. I'll be looking forward to seeing more of that. I also wanted to mention that I appreciated the special logos that the Chameleon, American Warrior, or American Patriot, and the Christian Warrior had. It's at the bottom of one of their pages. They each have their own kind of logo. Pretty cool. But the trash talk I wanted to focus on and actually answer your question is once again Tommy Christopher. And I know I just talked about him not that long ago, but the reason I wanted to mention it and his trash talk again is because he focuses in, he hones in on a theme here of like what's real and what's illusion, and he hones in and focuses on Dash DeLorean. So we've talked before about like casting a wide net, which is a great strategy if you're looking, to just pick up a feud from somebody or you're hoping to get mentioned. It's a great strategy whether you're entering rookie league or other league, and we'll probably talk about Lee Page Turner in the BRL later. Probably had like 4 or 5 mentions, but to my point, in the opposite direction is focusing in on one competitor, but really driving home what the issue is, right? And that's what Tommy Christopher does here with Dash DeLorean, is really hones in on what he does not like about this wrestler. So I wanted to talk about that. That's what I had.
All right, I dig that. In addition, I think we got to be careful, especially if you're a new wrestler, a rookie, someone in the NWL especially, about kind of challenging for matches that are considered blow-offs right away. It's not a good way to start off your feud, and it leaves you with nowhere to go. So just be careful about that when you're challenging guys to matches. You should naturally progress. I mean, this is not Monday Night Raw here. Like, we're not going to do crazy stuff like that.
I will say I use a little thing I mark off on the, I actually get the paper report, and I mark off which wrestlers actually TT. And the first time in a long time, I would say 90% of the active roster trash talks. That's awesome.
It's really
That's
good.
so good. It's something that, kind of going to the point of who you're trash talking at. There's a page in the NWL report where I break down debuts and departures, and that way you can kind of see who's in what time frame. It's a good idea to kind of pick someone who's in a similar time frame as you are, so that way if you have a feud, it won't be stunted because all of a sudden they're gone. Like I know Chameleon and Logan Kane are gone in about 3 or 4 cycles. So if you're like getting this epic feud on, that's great if you can run it out pretty quick. But once they're gone, it's going to leave you, scrambling for a new partner, if you will, a new dance partner. So I watch for that, and I would say one more note about challenging wrestlers as a rookie move. Be careful who you challenge. If you're holding a regional belt, maybe up your tag team challenges, because I've seen a lot in the last few cycles where a NWL regional champion has challenged an inactive wrestler, and the inactive wrestler beat them because their strategy was older, but it's still potent. I would just keep it to active wrestlers. It helps avoid that. As the commissioner, I'm kind of getting better about expunging the talent that needs to go. So if guys are overstaying their welcome, I will promote them to a new league. The latest batch were sent to the IWL. Before that, they were going to the BBL and the ASL. So we're kind of cycling through and rotating. That way, it gets spread out evenly throughout the Gold Fed. Because I will try to make sure that I always send wrestlers to a Gold Fed league initially, so you at least can have the same familiarity with the drops. And
that too, and they're not going to if they still get their bulletin in the mail, they're not going to be waiting or right. It's going to be the same time frame overall.
Yes. So NWL, thanks guys.
All right, fantastic. Next up is the IWL Independent Wrestling League, number 99, one away from 100. League champion, Ali Atari. Would you also win? You won gold and elite and Metro. Did you win Metro too?
No, I'm not. We didn't qualify for Metro, but sorry. Yeah. So guys, thanks for costing me the Metro.
I blame the blanks for leaving.
Damn you, David! I'm holding you accountable. Yeah, it was a nice 500 that I should have had a 501, but I typoed a 33 instead of a 32.
You got a 500 instead of 501?
Oh, that was the Attaboy title, man. Damn it. But I'll take that belt. Oh, yeah. Ooh, I'm dabbing right now. If you can't see it, but I'm dabbing.
Oh, brother.
Yeah. Moving on. Television champion, Gran Sabrosa. New York City champion, Dr. Slam. Los Angeles champion, Kennedy Cage. Boston champion, Frederick Xavier. Detroit champion, Graham Underwood. Cleveland champion, Taking Care of Business. Dallas champion, Monkey-Eyed Tim. Memphis champion, the highlight of the night, Johnny Vegas. Miami champion, Johnny WrestleFest. San Francisco champion, Donathan Annihilation. Chicago champion, the Orphan Crippler. Tag team champions, Shocker Jimmy Electric and Prince Tun. TV tag team champions, Frederick Xavier Sr. and Frederick Xavier. Six-man champions, Shocker Jimmy Electric, Prince Tun, Gran Sabrosa. TV six-man champion, Jesse Tombstone, James Carnage, and Cujo. So, Alex G, what's going down in the IWL? Well, we have tons of stuff, as always, going down in the IWL. Soul Survivor coming up shortly. Again, guys, get your entries into me as soon as possible. The event will run Cycle 101, so I'm going to need your entry fees next cycle, please. In addition, we have the Kumite. There's no ring, no rules, no holds barred. This is going to be a really, really cool event. The winner of this will receive $100,000 in iCash and a shot at the Pan American Championship at the following pay-per-view. In terms of TT, I thought the TT was really, really good this cycle. I'm very happy with it overall. But in terms of what I want to showcase exactly, right off the bat, what really kind of sticks out to me once again is the Chaotix, or the Chaotix, if I want to spell it correctly. Again, rookies who are in the NWL, please take a couple minutes out, read this TT because it's exceptional. Again, a lot of nuances here that maybe a first-time IWAR or IWarrior. You got the pictures of the entire crew up here with the names underneath them, so you know exactly who they are. They do little things like they bold out the names of the people that they're talking about. So if you're scanning through the bulletin quickly and you can see your name, you go back and read the whole thing. So again, a fantastic TT overall. And what do you think? You think the Chaotix can take down the Regulators once and for all this time?
No.
And also thank you for using Lance Cameron as well as the backstage interviewer. I appreciate that. But, with the Chaotix overall, they're doing so much. They're involved in just about everything. They got their fingers and a lot of different pies. Doing a lot of different things. So, again, very, very stoked about the quality of the TT. I'm not going to do Magnum Force or Luthers here. We're not going to do Riggins. We have a TT here from the Fabulous Three Birds. Again, they think that the Chaotix are distracted and focused on the Regulators. They say that Magnum Force seemed to back off, and they're looking for a fight with Neo Dragon, Luther Alexander, and Tim Riggins III. So, again, the Three Birds casting a wide net, and they're doing extremely well in the IWL since they debuted, since they came in for the draft. So, very, very excited here. We have the Backstabber, who doesn't want us to do commissioner reports anymore. So, Backstabber, if you're listening, there's 45 other leagues you can go to that don't have commissioner's report, if that's something you prefer. But in the IWL and the IWAR leagues in general, you're going to see commissioner's reports all over this bitch. That's the way it is.
There it is.
I love the Fox Wrestling Scorch. It might be my favorite thing that happens every cycle. In the IWL, especially the things you need to know. Sir Mix-a-Lot releases a new single. It says "Baby Got Backstabber" and then gets stabbed. Everyone wonders why Luther Alexander's logo is a neon billiards rack. Tim Riggins III stores his lunch under that hat. And Lady Xanadu signs a back brace endorsement deal. So,
Lucrative deal.
Yeah. Speaking of deals. We have the return of the Regulators, and they're really kind of going after the Chaotix here, and they kind of call them out. So
business.
Yeah, the reality has returned to the IWS, so bow down. And I want to say lastly, and I want to end it with Neo Dragon's TT here, which, again, when we talk about setting the scene, right? Now, in terms of Luther Alexander, Revolution Extreme, I did a lot of character development early on, and one of the characters I developed was Clarence Cochran, who is the attorney for Luther Alexander, who makes an appearance here in Neo Dragon's Trash Talk, which is fantastic. I like the fact he goes, "Dollar, dollar." But Neo Dragon, he's right now he's going after Ali Atari and the Grand Prix Championship. They're now 1-1, and they're going to have their finale match at the next pay-per-view. So read this TT. It's very long. Neo Dragon's TT is very long, but I'll tell you this: it's worth the read.
Bastard.
So, Mr. Anderson, what do you have for the IWL?
Well, first, as the manager for the Chaotix, I, for one, am both. It's bittersweet that the Regulators are back. Obviously, I think they're fantastic, but the problem is They're fantastic. That is what it is, I guess. I'll take my second place trophy.
Not for nothing. If you beat them, you're gonna have, you get to lay claim. You get a lot of bragging rights there. Like you beat Luther and Tim Riggins. You don't get much bragging rights from that. You beat Magnum Force, no, not so much. But you beat the regulators. You beat somebody.
That would be fantastic. I would be thrilled. The regulators, sidebar. I hope it's okay.
Yeah.
When I first joined the IWL with the Chaotic, the regulators were pretty much the cream of the crop, obviously, and I thought it was really cool that he was willing to feud with me as somebody who was pretty fresh still, pretty wet behind the ears. I thought we had a pretty good feud. I know. Hopefully, he thought we had a pretty good feud, but I am really genuinely excited that they're back, although I do fully expect that the number of tag and six-man titles I win will diminish by a large degree. So, that said, the trash talk I wanted to talk about a little bit, as aforementioned, was the backstabber. The backstabber does something that is not easy to do, which is basically be the absolute best at everything, while also saying that he's going to cheat in every single match. He was a 3 or 4 sport star in high school and college. He is also a master of martial arts and boxing and powerlifting and bench presses, and he also has a pretty good history with bare knuckle brawling. Basically, he's going to beat you up no matter what the spin the wheel make the deal is, right? He's the best at every single thing. But then he's also the very best at cheating in his matches, which apparently he doesn't need to do, but he just likes doing. He is the best, most complete, powerful, agile, scientific, dirty fighting wrestler of all time. But even with all of those accolades and being the absolute best at everything, if he doesn't win many titles, he's still the undisputed, uncrowned champion.
There it is.
So, backstabber.
He has a 99% chance of getting his fucking head ripped off. Just saying. To be honest here, whether that's legitimate TT or not legitimate TT, who's to say, right? I'm not going to say and criticize someone's TT. But when you do TT like that, there's a lot of boys in the IWL that are licking their chops to rip this guy apart. So, and I don't mean in the fun, let's feud with them kind of way either. I'm talking about in the, I want to destroy you until you leave.
There it is.
Yeah. I was like, ooh. All right, Matt, what do you got?
Well, I will just toot the own horn of the Gentleman's Club. Spike Dillinger and the American Savage is going after Magnum TL, a long-time IWL veteran and fan favorite, who decided to park his bike in the back as they were trying to cut their promo, and his motorcycle was loud, so they beat him with an iron and then threw the bike over into the dumpster. I'm looking forward to this feud, setting this up, but I like to do things that set things in motion and give guys a chance to respond. So what I've done is, my favorite line is the one if they say that, well, if Magnum comes out next cycle and apologizes for interrupting their promo, they'll let it slide. So now we'll have to wait and see, will Magnum come out and apologize to the Gentleman's Club?
Didn't that happen to you one time where you were feuding someone and they just at the end of the feud just came out and just apologized to you? I feel like that's something that happened to you.
Oh, probably. I've had so many weird things.
At least you didn't get your head chopped off by a lightsaber this time.
That's right.
Zero.
Yes.
That was, ladies and gentlemen, that was a legit sneak attack, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, at least you're not getting pile driven off the top of the building.
Not again. That's a hard one to come back from. It's a hard one to bounce back from.
You know what that makes me think of, though, is the unbelievably hilarious reaction from the wrestler with no name landing in, was it a truck full of crackers?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Kudos. That's hilarious. Oh,
that's the way you take a lemon and make lemonade, my friend.
That's right. He threw me off a building. Luckily, I landed in a truck full of crackers. Oh, good stuff.
All right. Next up, is the BRL Battle Royal League number 527. The league champion winning 0 in IWA credit because they get it for the Battle Royal now. Ghostly Shadows. TV champion Hot Stuff Adam Cash. Atlantic champion Handsome Hollywood Star. Central champion Bruce Scott. Dixie champion, the author of Agony, LePage Turner. Eastern champion Cowboy Jim Spur. Mountain champion Wildcard Timmy Lane. Northern champion Duke Nukem. Pacific champion Sharpshooter Jake Scarlett. Prairie champion Vicious Vincent Payne. Southern champion Sergeant Dagger Vanderback. Western champion Colonel Dirk Vanderback. Tag team champions is Saskatchewan Sasquatch and Ghostly Shadows. TV tag team champions Colonel Dirk Vanderback, Sergeant Dagger Vanderback. Six-man champions Lord Regal, Martel the Model, and Zolf Diggler. Six-man champions Stax Gotha, Nature Boy Tommy Landell, and Duke Nukem. So, Matt, what's going down in the BRL?
Well, a few things. One, Duke Nukem won the Battle Royal and therefore won the $50 in IWA credit.
There it is.
So, once again, well done. Note that Ghostly Shadows League Championship is his first after all this time in the BRL. He was often the bridesmaid. Adam Cash's second TV title. So, and Spur won his first regional in over a year. So, welcome back to the title page. There's a lot going on. We have a few things in the works as far as annual events coming up. Of course, there's the IWAR events, Johnny B. Cup in Murano. The BRL's pay-per-view WrestleRama is coming up real quick. We also have the 6th annual Best of 7 series, so we'll be looking for the 2 wrestlers to represent in that series. And newsflash, we are adding a Best of 7 series for the women. So there will be a women's series between 2 wrestlers. And that'll be ongoing soon, so we'll be rolling that out. We are also going to add a Money in the Bank match at the Imagibash pay-per-view in the summer. So I'll be having some qualifying matches to set up the people to be entering that, so kind of whittle it down between the obviously active trash talkers. Lots of feud going on. Good to see people taking jabs at each other. And as always, feel free to trash talk, have fun with it. We saw Mr. Blood unmasked as Dashing Don Dario. I know we were talking pre-show. You had a pet peeve you wanted to address when it came to trash talk.
Yeah. You guys got to do me a favor, especially in the BRL, but in the IWAR in general. Please turn off your caps lock when you're writing your TT. It makes it very difficult to read. So if you could do me that favor, I know you want to convey some sort of emotion and anger, and I understand that. I get that, right? But man, it makes it rough to read. So again, one of the things about having quality trash talk, you can have the best TT in the world, but if no one's going to read it because it hurts their eyes, no one's going to read it. So as a personal favor to me, turn the caps off, please. Thanks.
There it is. So Mr. Anderson, any TT that stood out to you?
In the BRL, several ones that I could have talked about. The one I ended up settling on was the fantastic submission by Money Driven Mike Sebastian.
Quality stuff.
Probably been talked about before. Money Driven Mike always delivers good stuff, along with the Suburban Hell Savages. I can talk. But he just does a really solid job of talking about several important points, and then also talking about like upcoming events, while also having covered what recently happened. So if you are looking to do things in a way that is readable and poignant and covers the things it needs to cover, highly suggest checking out Mike Sebastian's Trash Talk. Very high quality stuff.
Yes, indeed. And I was a fan of his work way back when he was in the MML, and worked a long time to get him in the BRL. Kind of a good example of what happens when I see someone's work is phenomenal. I want to get them into a league where I'm at. So he, of course, has a big match for the Global Championship coming up at WrestleRama, taking on the champion Adam Cash. I wanted to mention thank you for the folks that chimed in on the Facebook page to mention some of the TT that stood out to them. Notably, R.A. Rude appreciating the author of Agony, LePage Turner's trash talk, which is fun. Fun read. I will say, though, I noticed that he gave himself the Breakout Star of the Year award, and that wasn't an official award, so it's minor detail there. I did like the picture. It's always fun to see pictures of El Barbero. It looks kind of like he's doing a comedy night with a young boy in a wheelchair with Gato. Maybe a Make-A-Wish kid. I don't know. It says a legend is coming soon, so I don't know if that means the kid's the legend or what might be. So curious how that's going to pan out. But again, always fun to see things laid out. A lot of players have asked over the years to kind of like, oh, who's the commentators, who's the announcers, who's the interviewers. So I'm adding a little bit to help that in the next issue. That's going to list the staff of the BRL and NWL, and folks here, feel free to use them in your promos, like Dapper Dan D. I see him all over the IWA, and it's like, oh, okay. So, feel free to use them. They're there.
You know what I enjoyed? I enjoyed El Gato and El Barbero. What happened was, no, they're doing this thing where El Gato, he won the Non-Wrestler of the Year once again. This is the second year that he's won it. He didn't come to the award ceremony because he was out helping a Make-A-Wish kid, which there's a nice little illustration of that, which again gets me licking my chops at doing something dastardly to this kid in a wheelchair.
Yes, do it. Do it.
Although I do appreciate the fact that El Gato is wearing a bow tie, and he's giving a thumbs up.
That's right.
We could make a killing selling El Gato plush stuffed animals.
That's right. I also enjoyed the return of the Catfish Rob artwork. This time it featured the villain Victor Kane, or it says the Stud, and the picture is well worth seeing. So I'd highly recommend you check out that cartoon. We have a lot going on, and the WrestleRama pay-per-view is shaping up pretty well. Always, feel free to get involved. There's some tag teams forming. And I want a special thank to Mike for his work with the Between the Ropes column, which is 2 pages, and it does a really good job of a summary of what's going on in the BRL. So if you're coming into the league and you're kind of trying to catch up, give that a read, and you'll see kind of where everyone is. So it's a really nice way to kind of get caught up if you've just joined a big league like the BRL. And I will. My final note of trash talk is I appreciated the Different Strokes throwback with Luther Alexander tempting the 2 young boys. Terrible, sir.
There's only one Hollywood star in the BRL, and that's Luther Alexander, by the way. So just keep that in mind. All right. Mr. Anderson, what do you got for us? IWAR Wide.
Well, IWAR Wide. We have several things. First, I would be interested if anybody had any comments, compliments, complaints about any of the changes that you've seen the last couple cycles. I did do a couple of adjustments this cycle to the IWAR magazine. So let me know what you think of those, particularly kind of a revision on listing the IWAR champions. If you like it, don't care, let me know. We do have a new IWAR Revolution champion in Graham Underwood. Defeated the Chameleon for the vacant title. What's interesting to me, in addition to Graham Underwood, who I believe is now the first person to hold both titles simultaneously, that being the Revolution and World title, is that the former Revolution champion who left the BRL was still thinking that he could remain the Revolution champion, which doesn't make a lot of sense. It's like leaving WWE and then saying I should still be WWE champion. Moving on, Combustible Elements is down to its final 2 wrestlers. So we will see a finale this upcoming cycle between Handsome Hollywood Star and Joe Boring. The winner will earn $72 in credit. The runner-up will earn $24 in IWA credit. Congratulations to our good friend Brad, who's going to take home $96 in IWA credit. Pretty big prize. Good luck to both of those gentlemen. The winner of combustible elements, either Hollywood Star or Joe Boring, will challenge for the Revolution title. So we'll see how that goes. The sign-ups, as mentioned at the top of the hour, for the Johnny B. Cup and the Murano continue. The deadline is February 19th. Again, the only exception being that teams that asked to be waitlisted, if there was openings, don't have to pay by the 19th. I will contact those managers to let them know they're in. It does seem highly possible that we will not hit 48 and that those waitlisted teams will be able to enter. So if you have any questions, please ask me before February 19th. I did have a couple managers who I appreciate reaching out to either myself or Matt and saying, hey, I think I entered, I didn't see my name. So if you don't see your name, that means that the IWA did not confirm to me that you entered. So please just have the IWA do that. They do a lot of work. They don't always email me or other commissioners, for that matter, the entries that they receive. So if you don't see your name, it just means the IWA didn't send it to me. So please ask the IWA to do that. So last IWAR-wide note I wanted to mention is the IWAR has sometimes been criticized for maybe not doing more for the game at large. Truth be told, there may be a place for the IWAR to try and support the game as a whole. With that in mind, last cycle there was a look outside the IWAR where I said, if you're a commissioner in the IWA and you'd like to feature your league in the Ringside magazine, please get in touch with me. Almost every league I'm willing to promote. I could probably count on 2 fingers how many leagues I don't want to promote. So if you're not one of those 2, please message me. Let's get your stuff in. Let's promote it. Let's build it up. So nobody reached out yet. If you'd like to promote your event, I'd be happy to do that. Happy to support our fellow commissioners. If you're interested, please get a hold of me. Let me know.
On a follow-up note on that, I will say that, for example, right now the NAL Classic is going on, and they advertised in the IWAR, and as a player myself with a wrestler in the NAL Classic, when that ends, if there's another event going on out there that's open to wrestlers to transfer in, I'm game to go there and give it a whirl. So if you advertise with us, you're going to reach a bigger audience than you would just in your one league. So if you want to really make that league to be event to be a little more robust, use the advertising that's out there for you.
And I believe, I should double check before I say this, I believe the Nonstop Action League is one of the leagues endorsed by the IWAR network.
That's true.
For whatever that's worth.
It's weight in gold, trust me.
That laugh, honestly, I want a clip of that laugh. That's the most villainous laugh I've heard in a long time.
Well, I am a villain. I mean,
Victor Kane.
I'm the type of person that will smile at you 30 seconds before I bite you in the face.
Oh.
Just keep that in mind.
Good to know. Threaten me with a good time. You better buy me dinner first, sir.
Well, not Applebee's, that's for sure.
Not Applebee's, though. No, fair point.
All right, guys, so we are officially out of time. So, for Matt Riley, for Mr. Anderson,